Hello, this is Carolyn here at Conshohocken United Methodist Church. I'm here today to talk to our brand new minister, Pastor Tim Duchesne, and welcome him, and we are going to ask him a few questions to get to know him. So first, can you tell us, Pastor Tim, how you got into ministry? Tell us the story.
I suppose it started when I was a young man. My uncle took me to church a couple of times, Catholic church actually. And he says that on one occasion when I came back, I was really amazed at the pomp and circumstance of the Catholic church service, and I had all these kinds of questions. And he said he prayerfully answered those questions as best as he could. By the time I was about 12 years old, I was in summertime, I was looking around the house for something to do. Probably was a rainy day. And I found a book on my parents' shelf that sparked interest. It was something about the life of God or the life of Christ or something. And I pulled it down and I read that book and for that summer. And by the time I finished, I can remember laying on my bed in my room and praying to God and dedicating my life to serve God, and forgot all about that commitment through my teenage years into my early 20s. And then I met my future-to-be wife, Suzanne. And she had grown up in the United Methodist Church. I, in the meantime, didn't go to any church. She had asked me to go to church with her, and I said no, because I thought churches, I didn't know much about church except two things. You had to dress up, and I did that all week long and really had no interest in doing that, and they wanted your money. And money was my God. I was in the financial industry at the time. I really was interested in making money and not giving my money away. So I said no. So she went anyway, and it was Mother's Day. And she came back and she said, "You really got to come and meet this pastor." I said, "Well, let me think about it." I said, "Is it air conditioned?" Because it was the summertime. And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Is there cushions on the pews? Because if I'm going to sit there for an hour, I want to be comfortable." She said, "Yeah, there are." I said, "I'm not dressing up. I'm dressed, I wear a suit and tie all week long. I'm not doing that." She said, "I don't think anybody will mind." I said, "Okay." So I was out of excuses, and so I said, "Okay, I'll go to church with you." I walked into the sanctuary of Choose United Methodist Church in Glendora, New Jersey, and I felt the Holy Spirit descend on me, and I clearly heard a voice say, "Remember your promise to me." And my mind flashed back to when I was that 12-year-old boy laying on my bed and promising my life to God. But on the drive home, I turned to my future wife. I don't even remember if we were engaged at that point, and I said, "What would you think if I became a minister?" She nearly fell out of the car. And when she finally pulled herself together, she said, "Yeah, that would be okay."
Wow.
And I began to pursue it from that point.
Well, we're so glad to have you here. Let's talk a little bit about your personal life, a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
So I know you love animals.
I do.
Tell us about your pets.
Well, I've always had pets. I grew up in a household with lots of pets. Always had dachshunds or greyhounds and lots of cats. So I've always had pets, and we've always had, in particular, a Siamese cat. Ever since I was born, we had a Siamese cat in the house, and Siamese are just wonderful animals. So I currently have a Siamese named Baby Boy.
Baby Boy,
and
all
he's
right.
my constant companion whenever I'm in the house. He's right there and sleeps right by my side.
Oh.
And then we have a Pomeranian. My wife loves Pomeranians, has Pomeranians most of her life. So we have a Pomeranian named Remy, who's a rescue that we got.
Very cute names.
Yeah,
Baby Boy and Remy. All right.
Baby Boy and Remy. He's a great dog. Yeah.
That's
really neat to have. So
Good.
two animals, and I hope to do a blessing of the animals here in October, in honor of St. Francis. And I'm also hoping to. I'm happy to do pet funerals and those sorts of things. I've done some of those.
That's wonderful. You hear that, folks? Bring your pet. Awesome. Well, tell us, I think you also have a couple hobbies, maybe some golfing and some boating.
I do. I golf. When I was a young man, my father, interestingly enough, was a AAA ball player for the White Sox
Very interesting.
growing up, but he never encouraged me to play baseball. Instead, he taught me golf.
Okay.
And so as a young man of about
Lifelong sport.
6 years old, he put a club in my hand, and I've been playing ever since.
Awesome.
So I still play golf. When I was in elementary school, they sent me to Admiral Farragut,
Okay.
which was a military school, naval school, where I learned to sail. And my parents had a sailboat, and so combination of learning to sail at Admiral Farragut for 3 summers and sailing on their boat. And I now have a sailboat myself that I keep up
Very
at Lake
impressive. Oh.
So just a small
Okay.
14-footer runabout.
Yeah.
So if you want to come sailing, let me know. I'm happy to
Great.
take you out.
Yeah. Well, if not sailing, I'm sure that there are some golfers in the congregation that would enjoy talking or playing some golf with me.
Hey, I love to play golf, and God can meet us on the golf course just
That's
as where
right.
it is anywhere else.
Tell me a little bit about what inspires you to be a minister. Any people that inspire you, role models?
In my spiritual journey, I've had a couple of great experiences. One is we visited a friend in France years ago, and we had the opportunity to go to a community called Taizé. This was an ecumenical movement to bring together Christians from various backgrounds, whether they're Protestant or Catholic, and have peace on the hill amongst the different religions, or branches of Christianity, I should say. And that place has been very meaningful for me through the years, and so we go back every few years to Taizé and spend a week there with the brothers, meditating and praying. And the other inspiration I've had in ministry is I had the great honor of meeting Archbishop Desmond Tutu at one point. And to see that man and the holiness that comes from him and the joy that he has in life and ministry and is just incredible. It's infectious and contagious.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
those are 2 of my inspirations in ministry.
Well, thanks, Pastor Tim, for taking the time today so we could get to know you a little bit more. I hope everyone watching got to learn a little something and takes the time to come see us and meet Pastor Tim on a Sunday morning here, 10 a.m., our service times at Conshohocken United Methodist Church.
Well, thank you for taking the time to get to know me a little bit, and I look forward to being here at Conshohocken United Methodist Church for a long time.